All right, here we go. So Virgo, huh? Let's just do it. Virgo, hi. That's you. This is Tarot Lumination, and this is your general report for February 2018. There you go. So let's have a look. Cards were already well shuffled in advance, but we're going to the last second so that you are a witness. Okay, no jumpers, flyers, no oracles, no reversals. Same story. Okay, we just use the basics here, the very most basics. Okay, basic ingredients, but they work, you know. So Virgo, you've got Saturn in Capricorn right now. It just started this epic 3-year journey, and it's happening for you in your 5th house: love, romance, creative self-expression, risk-taking, and being happy. So it's like the very, very serious business of being happy. It's almost like the Saturn police, the happiness police, are coming along and saying, "Okay, Virgo, what's wrong? Why aren't you happy? What are we going to do about this? Okay, you've got 3 years to figure it out." Okay, thank you very much. So that's kind of what we're talking about with the Saturn. And then you've got these eclipses right here, right now in February with this, let's see, with, I guess it's around the middle of the month. There's that massive Aquarius new moon eclipse. So there's, shakeups, serious shakeups and awakenings. No going back when it comes to health, because that's going to be around your 6th house. Healthy habits, services to the world. What are you going to actually do with yourself and your skills and your talents, Virgo, in order to, let's say, nothing demeaning about this, but to serve the planet? I mean, that's kind of your energy anyway. So when you get that 6th house energy stirred up by the eclipses, it's going to probably shake you up, trying to figure out, well, what am I really going to do with about my health, for example? It's very much a strong indication. It's time to shake it up, wake it up, cleansing, purifying, refining, distilling, removing toxic, unhealthy habits, and starting to train very gently, very slowly for new habits that work, that are very self-loving, self-healing. And that becomes a practice. That becomes a habit. There are good habits and there are bad habits. Habits are habits, but you can have good and bad. The other thing is you've got Jupiter and Scorpio in your 3rd house, which could really, really trigger, that's very comfortable for you. Could it trigger a sense of growth and expansion in like learning and speaking and listening, becoming more empowered, more strong, more confident, more optimistic about, let's say, being more, socially present in this world with your peers, with your buddies, your mates, going out more, socializing more, listening to other people's stories, telling your own stories more, things like that. It's very beneficial and healing for you, Virgo. All right, so I think it's enough chit chat about that stuff. Let's just get into it. All right, we did all that. Yeah, we did all that. We did all that. We did all that. Here we go. Okay, so I kind of went long there, but I got it all out there on the table. It's just for adding a little bit of spice and herbs to the reading, okay? It's not just raw tarot here. So let's have a look. Let's start at the very core, heart energy, pulsing heart. That heart needs what it needs. It has to get what it has to get in order to get to the next heartbeat. That's life, okay? So it's important to nourish and nurture the heart. What does the heart want? Listen, okay? Listen very carefully. We don't have to live out of our heads the whole time. Virgos, you can be very, very practical, thoughtful, like scientific. Everything has to be just right, but that can be, at the neglect of the heart. The heart is a very beating, rich, pure thing that needs to be honored and loved and respected. And Saturn is there through the 5th house saying, Virgo, it's time to pay attention to your love life, okay? In a very serious manner. Thank you very much. Okay. There you go, Virgo. So what are you bringing in with you? Legacy, history, baggage, pain and suffering from the last 5 years or more, 6 years, with all these heavy Saturn transits, the massive big T squares, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and all of that. Whatever it is, you might be traveling very light. You might feel in good spirits right now. Either way, it's like whatever's in your backpack, okay? This is the ever-present energy of now. This is like Virgo, like in its essence, being very, very present, very clear, okay? And not worrying about the past, not worried about the future, just focused on the now, okay? It is in the present where we own our power through the healing power of our decisions, okay? So how do we make these best decisions so that the energy comes back to the heart? You can still live your life, but you're still nourishing your heart at the very core at the same time, because that's what's best for you. Loving yourself first, feed your heart, take care of your heart, the love that you need, nourish yourself first, whatever else is going on out there. So Virgo, you have a strong tendency to be basically like, it's almost like the slave, you know? It's like the person who's unappreciated, they just show up, they do all this stuff, and it's like they don't even know you're there. You just automatically do these good things, take care of business, do the stuff that no one else really wants to do, taking care of the laundry, doing the chores, doing all the practical stuff, and it's like, where's the thank yous? It's like sometimes Virgos can feel invisible. Like, doesn't anybody appreciate me? Doesn't anybody get me? Well, it's time, Virgo, for you to be got. So it all starts with loving yourself first. A lot of tough lessons in self-love here, okay? Saturn is there for a purpose, a reason, okay? Consequently, we would have this. This is on the understanding that you are staying very present, Virgo, honoring yourself at the very, very core, and not being distracted by duties, habits, and practices that are redundant, obsolete, no longer yours anymore. So what happens, let's say, when you do a good job of loving yourself, nurturing you? How would that look? What happens if you mess up, if you go back to the old ways of Virgo? Well, I'm just, I just do what I have to do. I'm just taking care of the chores, and that's it. And I try to do the best that I can for myself, and being of service to others is very fundamental to you. It's like being the good nurse, the good doctor, the good caretaker, the good teacher, the good housewife, the good mom, the good student, the good friend, for everybody else. But what about you, Virgo? Excuse me. So in other words, what if you mess up on your decisions? What if you make really good decisions? Huh? What goes on? This is what if. These are the prospects that take you straight back into the next heartbeat. Okay, Virgo, look. You see? There it is. Can you see the heart shape there? And this is your heart at the very core saying, love me, love me, love me, love me, love me, love me. Okay? No one else is going to do that for you except you. Okay, Virgo? Under here, we got circumstantial energy. You're going to make the best of it. You've got the Five of Wands. So my feeling is that in February, you might get shaken up a bit with the eclipses in your sixth house, like rattling things around, excuse me, with self-care, self-issues about recognizing poor habits that need to be acknowledged, and then consider how are we going to create new habits. Okay, something like that. What are you going to do for your service to the world without demeaning yourself, without diminishing yourself, so that you can actually grow and flourish in being a really, really cool Virgo? Brings out the best in you. This particular period is going to start stimulating you to bring out the best in you. It might not be the most fun thing all the time, but it is going to bring out the best qualities in you. At the very core, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So it's almost like this is something you've been dreaming of, wishing of for a long time. That's what I feel here. And all the so-called events, circumstances, planetary alignments, people, places, situations, let's say even fate is lining up for you, and you feel it. Your heart feels it at the very, very, very core. So it's very, very satisfying. It might feel like magic. It might feel like, oh my gosh, this tarot stuff is really weird, but it's kind of like, whoa, I see what you're getting at. And all that astrobabble, there's something to this stuff. Excuse me. Hold on, I need a sip of water. Sorry, Virgo. I got to take care of myself now. Hold on. So what are you bringing in with you? Wow, look at that. So it's very clear that you want to make the best of this. It's very clear that there's like God, it feels like, it's almost like, Virgo, you're fired up. You you know you're being challenged. You know you're going to be challenged by Saturn. You know you're going to be challenged by this eclipse coming up. And you just had an eclipse at the end of January. That's shaking up the health axis, the self-love, the self-defeat axis, you know? And it's almost like you knew this was coming. You knew some of this was coming in your life, and you're realizing deep at your core that this is kind of what you wanted. It's something like you might have been praying for a very long time, and now it's actually happening. It's actually getting you in alignment to really live your life where you start, let's say, owning the shadow self, owning all the things and understanding all the things that don't work for you, and then turning that to your advantage. I know that sounds strange, but you can learn so much from your mistakes. And you might have been getting pounded, Virgo, for all we know, but you've learned a lot in the process. And now you can turn that uh, um, in a way that's like fuel for you going forward. So you can bring all the things into alignment that weren't working, and that adds like power to you with all the stuff that already does work very well with you. And then that means you're fully aligned, like all ready to go. Like this is a tremendous chance opportunity to like kickstart a new life here. So many new beginnings right now. Brand new starts with the Saturn and Capricorn. Brand new shakeups and wake ups with the eclipse in the middle of February with that Aquarius energy. Fresh starts, new beginnings. It's like starting a whole new life practice, lifestyle habits here. Okay, that's what it feels to me. That Virgo energy, sixth house, lifestyle habits, good practices, good habits, good healthy self-loving habits. What about now? Okay, deciding that that's cool. That's actually what I want. I want to have it all. I deserve that. I deserve the wealth. I deserve the abundance. This is like the Virgo energy feeling like, you know what? I've scored and I'm going to score and I'm going to make this work. I'm going to take advantage of all these good things that are happening out here for me, even if they appear challenging. I know that ultimately it's for my own spiritual growth and health and happiness and healing. So I'm going to capitalize on this. I'm going to make the best of every single aspect, every single thing. If it's like, you know how some people are very good at uh, you know, resource management. Like they save all these boxes, they save jars, they save bottles, they save files, they save uh, things, and they find ways to get value out of it, and they turn garbage into gold. Okay, and you start building up a legacy. This is your right now the whole energy of like seeing a legacy in front of you, knowing that you have a chance now to build a legacy, build a home, build a sense of family, build a sense of self-worth that is tangible, something that you can literally own, that benefits others, that other people can enjoy with you. It's like the happy family card, but not in with the cups, but more about what actually works. It's like owning good property, having friends and family over, uh, all of that good stuff in a way that endures for the long term, creating good, nurturing, tangible habits that show visibly in your life in how your life grows in terms of abundance. Self-healing that becomes self-evident. Okay? That's what I'm feeling here for you, Virgo. So, what about the decision making processes? Okay, very practical, methodical, well thought out, well intended for the long term. It's literally like planning for the long term, creating new foundations from the soil upwards. Some way, somehow, Virgo. I know you would understand that. I'm not going to tell you the details. This is just a general for thousands of people, so that's cool. But you can reinterpret however you want, Virgo. It's about making decisions that are very much in alignment with your own growth, your own your own abundance, investing in yourself like a really noble, capable farmer, like a good land manager, like someone who's really, really good at the old-fashioned stuff of like running a home, setting up a home, uh, running running a home in ways that really, really work. In other words, it isn't a fantasy. This is really, really solid foundations when it comes to love and romance in terms of love is as love does. Investing in oneself in very, very loving ways. What is the most nutritious, nourishing thing that you can do right now for yourself to invest in you for the long term that shows as long-term evidence for you, so that it becomes very evident that you can look in the mirror and say, wow, I really am taking charge of my life and I am living out my ultimate Virgo self here. Thank you very much. No apologies for any of that. So how do we do that effectively? Okay, you have to be very, very careful, because with the Saturn energy, my feeling is that anytime that you, let's say, slip into the old ways, so to speak, it's like going onto black ice, and you could easily slip up and get sidetracked and distracted, and very, very, very easily lose all the traction that you build up from all the good stuff here. This is all super, super, super supportive energy for you here, Virgo. And then just by simple random acts of carelessness, saying the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong people for the wrong purpose, out of, you know, absent-mindedness or whatever, that could backfire on you really badly. It's also an indication. Uh, Somebody wrote in about their feelings about this card, about how it's time for you to get what you deserve. Okay, no matter what, no matter how you do it, even if it means you have to be very stealthy and very, let's say, discreet about what you do and how you do it in order to maximize your good fortune and invest in yourself. So like it's whatever happens out there in the rest of the world, if they can't handle it, that's their problem. It's very, very much about you taking care of you, Virgo, right now. Okay? Just be very, very cautious with that, because you don't want to step on people's toes and hurt their feelings, and you don't want to let yourself be undermined or sabotaged by other people's agendas that are self-serving and have nothing to do with enhancing you. If some people are trying to exploit you for their own agenda, that's not cool. If you're trying to exploit other people for your agenda, that's not cool. This is very, very good, but we have to be very aware that sometimes with good fortune comes jealousy. Okay, other people might be jealous of you, resent you, all those kind of things, and they, like, you know, if you're happy and successful, other people think like, she was born rich, she's just a, you know, silver spoon baby, or he's a trust fund baby and he didn't do anything, you know, because they don't want to figure out their own problems themselves, how to ascend and be the way you are, Virgo. They would rather diminish you and say, oh well, you know, that's what people do. That's how they justify things being out of alignment with themselves. They if there's a serious disparity between Virgo at your ascendant self and others at the less ascendant selves, those over here can easily say, ugh, look, you know, they think they're so special. Look at you. You're no different from us. You should be hanging out down here with us. Don't do that, Virgo. Consequently, okay, my feeling here is that it's very much to do with, let's say, getting very, very practical here, listening, tuning in very, very deeply to what your intuition tells you, what your, let's say, spiritual guides are telling you, and allowing that to percolate and move through your body, translate that into practical expressions, practical decisions that work in very, very classic Virgo ways. Like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to make the best of this situation, of these resources, and get everything to work and cleaned up properly? So you do that very, very carefully, very stealthily, very judiciously, very privately, very discreetly if you have to. What that can bring is a sense of hope, dreams, and ambitions that this is actually what is right for you. This is, it's almost like getting the healing that you deserve. I feel this is, the star card here is very closely aligned with the Aquarius new moon eclipse in your health sector. So it actually brings health to you and healing to you in kind of magical ways. It's almost like uh, that practice that I talk about a lot here on Tarot Illumination about self-healing. I do a lot of personal self-healing in my own life because I have to. Because if I don't, things fall apart really quickly, I can tell you. So my feeling here is that it's starting to learn the practice of self-healing, loving oneself first, and turning healing and self-healing into a practice, really, really good practice, and allowing that you, in this own divine, magical way, are being guided and protected to head in that journey. So that's, I feel, is very good for you. I feel this is all about Virgo taking advantage of the energies that are out there that we described, like the Jupiter in Scorpio in your third house, the Saturn in Capricorn in your fifth house, the eclipse happening in your sixth house, and making all of that work for you. And it actually works. You realize, oh my gosh, it's all about tuning into energy and turning it into energy healing. That's one of the things they talk about on Tarot Illumination. Vibrational energy healing. Oh, so cool. So what happens if you just say studiously and diligently keep on that path? Deeply self-loving, deeply self-healing habits, developing new habits and releasing old habits. Well, you expose all the stuff that doesn't work or didn't work. All the anxieties that took you down that might have been like limiting factors for so long. If you Virgo, it's very easy for you to be riddled with anxiety because you have such a high sense of perfection. Like just the slightest thing that goes out of whack in your world can trigger tremendous anxieties, and you start questioning yourself like, what did I do wrong? How did I do that wrong? What am I supposed to do right? What am I not doing right? And you take it all on you, and most of it's in the mind here, but you're taking all the blame for stuff that might not be for you. So in terms of self-healing here, bringing the healing and the love to your heart that you deserve through this February season, when you mess up on your decisions and you get sloppy and you maybe, fall back into old habits, you're going to trigger all this horrible stuff again. It's just going to come flooding right back as though it was never healed. When you do take effective measures to love yourself, bring the healing to yourself, invest in yourself, see the legacy for a future that you can build for yourself, new home, new love, new relationships, and new love and romance for yourself in ways that you deserve, you can release all of this stuff. All of this stuff gets exposed for healing. So that's very good news. That's how I see that. I'd love to put a positive spin on that one. Okay, so where does that take us? See? Wow, these are big cards here, Virgo. What's going on with you? All these, arcanas here, these majors, it makes me feel that there's a lot of what we could call fate going on here. But my feeling is like, it's not just like, just saying, oh, well, it's just fate. It's about being closely aligned with the energies, the intangible, invisible energies out there that we talk about a lot on this channel, like the movement of the planets and how they do affect us, literally like clockwork. And understanding that there is a beautiful, magical, what are those things, those gadgets that create these beautiful patterns and you swirl them around. I forgot what they're called. Anyway, it's a beautiful thing, and it feels as though, to me, like it's almost like the energy of being a sorcerer, a sorceress, where you start to learn like there's a formula to this. It's a formula. It's very private. It's not something you just like blurt out to the whole world. This is about you getting your act together and creating a whole new life from scratch, saying goodbye to an old life. There's old ways of life and old ways of being that are completely and utterly redundant now, and it's over, it's done with. I feel this is also very closely related to the eclipses here in February, about the end of an old life, an old way of being, and the beginning of a new life and way of being. The healing of this, the revealing of this for the healing of this to move on so that there is much more of this, much more substance, stability, and like the fate that you truly deserve, understanding that you are guided and protected the whole way, almost like magic. Okay? Let's leave it at that. All right, Virgo, you can reinterpret. I know you can. Cross watch for your loved ones too if you really want. Okay? There you go. There's the story. All the best. Love you guys.